So where are we off to today, Dave?
We're going to Teal Park in Lincoln. So hopefully not too far from Lyndon House. So it's just pulling out of here now.
Good stuff. So what have we been up to this month?
Oh, we've been all over the place, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
It feels like it anyway.
Yeah. So we were at the SRM, weren't we, in London a couple of weeks ago now?
Yeah, at the quarterly meeting, at Carl's quarterly meeting, right?
Yeah. So we spent a couple of days with them, well, an evening and then a day, doing some more, well, work on listening really. We were doing some mean and generous listening, active sort of games the night before, weren't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's something we've done with a few groups. It seems to be something that it makes an impact, but it's also quite fun to do, and it usually kind of gets people really engaged and energized. It's a bit of a laugh, really. Yeah.
But it's got a serious message as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
And then we invited a couple of the guys from Lincoln, so Adrian and Paul, who've been working on the customer witness test project. So they came and, well, they spent the whole SRM actually with the management team, but they had a part of the SRM was dedicated really to talking about how they've been getting on with their project and their experiments, and that was really well received, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of the program, the InquiryWorks program, is taking what we're learning locally and sharing it with senior leaders, so they're learning about what goes on in the organisation and how change happens within the organisation. So I think bringing Paul and Adrian to Carl's meeting and having Carl's team listen to their stories was a really powerful way to kind of get that learning across.
Yeah, definitely. Then we were at Gwynty Moor, which was my first time at any sort of site really, that wasn't a factory. It was really good. So it's the offshore wind farm, isn't it, off the coast of North Wales?
Off the coast of North Wales, near Rill, the second largest wind farm in the world, and quite proud of that. And I think they also wish they were the largest, but I think maybe London Array has that honour. But a great bunch of people working with Nick Davis and Lee Smith there in that business. And they've, what's interesting there is there's already lots of great things going on at Gwynty Moor, and they have a reputation for being innovative and trying new things. So I think some of the ideas that we came along with were quite well understood, natural for that group of people, especially the leaders and Nick on site,
Yeah, they were a really good bunch. I think I noticed even walking into the office, I mean, it was so welcoming, and the atmosphere was just really friendly, and it was, not that other places in Siemens aren't, but it was really noticeable there, I think. The sort of family atmosphere, which they actually, as a group, they did mention that family sort of atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah, I think I've spent quite a lot of my life on sites, and it is more relaxed, more informal, more human. People really support each other. They feel like, I guess they are kind of really a team, and they need to work together to achieve things, and so that's what they do. Yeah.
So we worked with them on some conversation skills, and then the sort of outcome, I guess, was both some individual experiments, which we've not really sort of experimented with previously, but we got them to think about some individual experiments that they might try, and then some sort of group experiments.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've noticed doing the work is that it's very normal and very human and very natural for people to construct change as something happening outside of themselves. So either in the in the management, or in the employees, or in Denmark or Germany or the US, and what we're trying to do is help people get into a space where they're reflecting on their own actions and their own ways of thinking. So the idea of doing individual experiments before we got into group experiments was a way to really, I guess, reinforce the idea that this stuff starts with all of us. There's an internal commitment to actually try something different and be open to learning. So I think that was how we designed it, and I think it worked quite well, actually.
Yeah, I do, and it's hard, isn't it, to think about what you can personally do to change, because the natural kind of thing is to say, oh, it's I don't know, Germany's fault or it's whoever's fault,
Yeah.
and not really think about how a small change in how you are and how you act and interact with others can actually make quite a large difference. So getting them into that space, actually it was quite easy with that group, because like we said, they're already sort of naturally of that kind of mindset, but it can be quite challenging.
Yeah, and you know, I think when I was kind of in operations and a manager and listening to those, you know, involved in this work, you know, I felt I was really busy, and every day I was showing up doing the best I could and trying to, you know, question everything I was doing in a way and show up as the best possible version of myself. But the reality was I was caught in lots of patterns of behaviour, and what really makes a difference is the ability to kind of recognise some of those patterns and try and shift them a little bit and see what happens, you know. So yeah, it's good.
Good. And then I guess I suppose the rest of the month we've just been showing up places and hanging out and trying a few experiments ourselves, really. So we're in Lincoln. We were in Lincoln yesterday in InquiryWorks, and we're off to Teal Park today. And that's really, you know, we've not got an event or a meeting planned. We met up with Adrian Toyne yesterday to see how he's getting on, and hoping to sort of see a few people in the canteen maybe today in Teal Park. But we find that just kind of being in the places where some of these guys are trying some stuff really helps when, you know, it's more informal.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've noticed how hard it is to get formal meetings with people. So everyone's busy, and you know, you've got to plan 6 weeks in advance to have a 1 hour meeting because that's when their diary's available. You know, it slows everything down so much. Whereas if you just show up and kind of say, we're here, do you have half an hour to have a chat, have a coffee in the canteen and have a discussion? People seem to be able to do that, but when you try and plan it in advance and you get caught up in diaries and scheduling and Outlook and PAs doing their best to try and fit you in with all the other commitments, it just gets slowed down. So yeah, we're kind of using the informal system to just be present and listen to what's going on and see who's available, and you know, just try and shift things by being around, I think.
And then we've been experimenting with some videos, so like this one. We've been trying to find a way of communicating what we're doing differently than just sort of sending an email or, you know, the sort of more traditional way. So we've been trying to do some videos of both updates like this one and what we've been learning through the likes of the work in Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of our experimentation is in the way we communicate, as you said, and video seems like quite a rich and human way to communicate ideas. So video is something we've been playing with, and the SSN. Right. So we didn't crash. It was just a massive acceleration of the rental car that pulled the phone off the screen.
Just as we were talking about experimenting with videos, the video just went completely wrong.
So it's not easy when a demonstration of when you're trying new things. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned, but that's how you learn, I guess, as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're learning how to make videos as part of our experimentation. No, I think I was just saying that the SSN is a tool or a platform that's kind of video friendly, where we can get the message out to a lot of people, and is kind of a very open way to stimulate some questions and inquiry. So I think the combination of video and SSN is something we're interested in and we'll continue to do. But we've also done some traditional communication as well, haven't we?
Yeah, so Rosemary Etherden, who's sort of communications expert, I guess, but external to Siemens, she often comes to Carl Ennis's SRM meetings, so we've sort of met her really through that. And she's really interested in the work we're doing, so she went to interview a couple of the guys in Lincoln and then wrote an article which we got printed, and it was glossy, sort of 4-page, I think. And we sort of distributed that, didn't we, to a few of the management team really initially. And I think we've got a question about what we do with that now. Do we make it more widely available? Because we've had a little bit of interest from a different division.
Yeah, a different division got hold of it actually and contacted us, and we've started the discussion with a different division about this work. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So I think that's something for us to continue to play around with, isn't it, really?
So the other things to talk about is the two other projects that we've got. So Ken Anderson's leadership EHS group. So Ken did a video, didn't he?
Yeah, brilliant video. I thought as a follow up to the kind of day together with his team.
Yeah.
And really different, I think, in Siemens to follow up a meeting with a video rather than another Outlook invitation to have a live meeting, but to really kind of say, look, this is where I am now, and this is what I think is valuable and important, and I'm inviting you as my team to get into this space and do some work together, but in a very human way. That was him kind of being part of the team rather than using his authority to make something happen.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really excellent.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, and they've got two goals or projects that they want to, or identified last time we were together as a group. So I think he's looking at how all of them can take that forward. So we'll catch up with him in a couple of weeks, I think, when we're in Newcastle again.
Yeah.
And then the BP project with Roland Hollington's business. That's kind of, I suppose, on hold a little bit, partly to do with what's going on for BP at the moment. Lots of changes and upheaval and, job losses and things like that. It's quite a difficult time, I think, to go in with a different approach and for them to receive it comfortably.
Yeah, it's so chaotic within BP at the moment with all the changes, and to be honest, there's some chaos in Siemens as well, because you've got within that project you've got the traditional Siemens business kind of from Lincoln and Finspång, but then you also have Rolls-Royce AGT that's been put in, and you've got Dresser Rand, and the customer are talking about expanding the contract to include General Electric equipment. So it's just a huge amount of kind of flux or dynamism involved, and there's some really, I think, fundamental kind of business improvement activities that would help the BP Siemens situation in the North Sea, in addition to the work that we're doing that will be valuable. So there's a lot of work to go there, and I think it's moving quite slowly, so it's going to take a while to kind of get to a good place, I think.
Yeah. So we're nearly at Teal Park now. So next week I'm on holiday, which I'm very much looking forward to. You're in Germany, aren't you, for a bit?
I'm in Germany for a few days, yeah.
And then the week after we're all over the country again. We're going to Newcastle to catch up with a few guys that went on a leadership development course a few months ago, ran by Ashridge Business School. So that'd be interesting to see how they're getting on.
Yeah.
And then we are going back to Gwinty, see how they're getting on with some of the experiments they identified last week.
Yeah.
And then we're meeting a guy called Charles Shoesmith. Well, you've already met him actually. Charles Shoesmith. He's a psychologist who ran a safety development, safety awareness program.
Safety leadership program. Throughout, I think GB&I, he's been doing it for a few years. And I went along to a day of this training, and I just found it was interesting that some of the same ideas and techniques that we're using, he was talking about in a slightly different context, but still similar. So we've been working with him, or we're going to do some work with him potentially around how we might develop kind of a training course for some of the stuff we're doing for people in Siemens, because it's just really us, and despite our travels all around the country, we still have just a limited amount of impact we can make by ourselves, and I think kind of rolling out some of these ideas through a training format might be helpful, you know.
And Carl wants a way to more reach the 4,000, so I think that might help that thing. So that's it.
Yeah, great.
Bye.
Bye.